The Hyundai IONIQ was the first car ever to go on sale with 3 different forms of electric power. Buyers choose from pure electric propulsion, hybrid propulsion, or, as in this case, a plug-in hybrid model. Given the choice between these 3 options, we think many potential buyers would probably take the plug-in route if money was no object, and it's easy to see why, with up to 32 miles of WLTP-rated all-electric driving range and CO2 emissions as low as 26 grams per kilometre. In an IONIQ Plug-in, there's obviously much more potential for extended full electric use than there is in the ordinary full hybrid model, thanks to the greater capacity of a considerably larger 8.9 kilowatt-hour battery that drives a pokier 61 PS electric motor. Despite that, total system output remains pegged at 141 PS, so ultimate performance is pretty much the same as it is with the ordinary hybrid variant, though initial acceleration seems a bit quicker thanks to the torque of the electric motor. Mind you, use too much of that and you'll quickly decimate the WLTP-rated 32-mile all-electric driving range. You can keep the car in EV mode by pressing on this EV button near the gear stick. Rest to 62 miles an hour when both petrol engine and electric motor are working in unison takes 10.6 seconds en route to 110 miles an hour. The IONIQ shares the same basic platform as the Kia Niro, which is a very good place to start from. As a result, the Hyundai handles nimbly and takes corners with more composure than you might expect for a car that's main focus is on low running costs and emissions. The only limiting factor is the reduced rolling resistance tyres, but in day-to-day driving you'll find this car very capable. It also enjoys a tight turning circle and steering that's light to turn at low speeds. You can add some more weight to the helm by selecting the Sport mode, but we find this makes it too heavy. Around town, the suspension is on the firmer side of comfortable, but by no means unsettled. Accelerate hard, and you'll really notice the benefits of this IONIQ's use of a proper cog-driven 6DCT dual-clutch auto transmission, a much better gearbox than the jerky belt-driven setup used in a rival Toyota Prius plug-in and in some other PHEVs. There's not much point building a new car that offers 3 different electrified powertrains for the first time ever if you're not going to make the most of every facet of its design. This is why Hyundai has gone to great lengths with the IONIQ to come up with a shape that has a drag coefficient of just 0.24 CD. That makes this one of the most slippery shapes ever for a car as it cuts through the air, which certainly helps reduce energy use and noise. Recent design revisions include a smarter front grille and revised bumper styling. The interior of this Hyundai doesn't feel that futuristic. It's not that it's dull in the cabin, it's just that it's not trying to be too clever for its own good, and we rather like that. What you get is a dash that bears a reasonably strong structural resemblance to the Korean company's other more conventional models such as the i30 and the Tucson. That's a very good thing as it's clear and made from excellent materials. There are hints though at what lies beneath the bonnet. You've got a gauge on the left-hand side of the instrument display screen that helps you drive more economically, and you've got a battery readout indicator on the right-hand side, plus an energy monitor in the centre that shows you exactly what's being powered by what. Time to move rearwards and take a seat in the rear. Now that's a process that, unless you're really quite short, will involve the need for a slight incline of your head below this sloping roofline. Having done that, you might not be too surprised to find that once inside, as in say a Toyota Prius, headroom is at something of a premium for taller folk. Normally these seats would have been positioned a little lower to compensate for the swept back ceiling, but that's not possible here since they sit right on top of the powertrain's battery pack. Finally, let's take a look at the boot space on offer. A lot of the latest battery-powered cars we've tested recently have managed to package in their batteries without encroaching on luggage room, but that's not the case here. The 443 litre capacity you get in an IONIQ hybrid falls to 341 litres on this plug-in version, which is actually less than the full electric version of this car. At least there's a bit of extra space beneath the boot floor, though there's no room for any sort of spare wheel. When you push the 60/40 split folding rear bench forward, it doesn't free up a completely flat loading area, but you do get as much space as likely buyers will need, 1,401 litres being provided. We can see why so many IONIQ sales will be of this plug-in hybrid derivative. After all, it offers so much more ownership flexibility than the ordinary full hybrid derivative, thanks to its 32-mile all-electric driving range. In fact, if for you, interest at the wheel is defined by technology, you might find this car thoroughly satisfying. It's certainly state-of-the-art.